Yes, so a very warm welcome from my side too. This is Engadin Art Talks number 12. So we now enter into the teenage phase. Philipp, Koya, Christina, Dale, Hans-Ulrich, Christian, Dan, we all will make sure that this still young tree will grow and that will grow more branches for birds to sing to us. The birds, who are the birds are obviously all of you with your questions and comments. The birds are all our speakers who come up here and share their knowledge with us. So many thanks from my side again. And if you want to check on birds from the past, please go to the archive that Dan, Christina told us, Dan Cousin and Christian Herren with a really enormous effort built up. Christina said it, this year's theme is Jenseits von Ohnmacht, Beyond Powerless. We chose this theme last June during Art Basel, and as you all know, it has become more relevant than ever. We live in difficult times, you all know, and it sometimes feels as if the world is falling into pieces and that we can't do anything about it. You may remember, it's not a long time ago, there was a pandemic, and I remember being up there on Engadin Art Talks, the apéro, and our daughter was on her way with the Trans-Siberian train to Moscow and then to China. And she would send us this picture from Busan, from the train station, with absolutely nobody in there. So that was the pandemic, and when it was over, we were all very relieved, and we all thought we could go back to our old and normal lives. Then the Russian war against Ukraine started, and it will, and it already has changed Europe, and it's just the beginning. And then a few months ago, on October 7th, 23, Hamas brutally attacked Israel and another war began. Both wars are intimately linked to our lives, to the values we defend, and to the history that defines us. We find ourselves involved in multiple debates about this history, about these values, and about our identities. For certain, this debate has turned into a fierce fight about truth, about power, and about the ego. We live, you all know, in very polarized times, especially in politics, but I would also say especially in culture. Well, it's not all. We face an ongoing battle over science and democracy. Lies are preferred over truth. The earth is flat, as we all know, and autocracies are better than democracies. It's still not all. Social media has profoundly changed the way information, disinformation, and representation circulates. It has produced an extremely fast and an extremely dynamic world. It also has produced an extremely narcissistic world. And from what I hear and from what I read, it has produced loneliness, fear, and isolation. And now we have artificial intelligence. Some predict that it will replace the humans. So there will be no more artists, no more musicians, no more actors or writers. The Engadin Art Talks will be called the Engadin Artificial Intelligence Talks. And you all will be replaced by your dogs and cats, and 2 dogs are already here, so they're testing the ground. But okay, we shouldn't get too gloomy, we shouldn't get too depressed. It actually gets even worse. We face an even bigger challenge and a more serious challenge, and it's called the climate crisis. So, here we are. We live in a moment of war, pessimism, lies, disaster, loneliness. People feel ohnmächtig, people feel powerless, Well, and I have to admit, I don't think that art, music, film, theater, literature are able to change this. It would be asking too much from them. No, the arts will not do it. The Engadin art talks will not save the world. So what can we do? Well, maybe we just stand up, we run away, and we go home. Ladies and gentlemen, the Engadin Art Talks 24 are over now. Please take your belongings. Please make sure you don't leave your brain behind. And no, we're not going to reimburse you. Thank you very much and goodbye. Well, you know, I'm just kidding. You know me all. We also know that there are no easy solutions. There is no savior, as I said, there is no dictator, there is no guru, there is no artist, and there is also no curator who is going to save us. Since 10,000 years or more, we're waiting for him or her to show up. It's not going to happen. So we have to do it ourselves, each of us. We have to do the first, the second, the 10th step, and we have to move on. But how are we going to do this? Well, it sounds, I have to excuse myself, it sounds pathetic or ridiculous or even strange, but I think being here is the first step. Why? What can we do? And I think it's very simple and it's very difficult. The first step is that we have to talk to each other again. We have to expose ourselves to others. We have to discuss, to debate, to exchange. You know, posting on Instagram or TikTok is not communication. It's commercials, it's branding, and it's fine. Surfing, scrolling, swiping, it's not information, it's consumption. And it's very clear by now, there is not much knowledge and wisdom on the internet. If you're looking for wisdom, if you're looking for knowledge, you will find it in books, you will find it in exhibitions, in films, in dance, in performances, in lectures, at the theater, and so on. And why? Because it involves your body. And you will also find wisdom and knowledge while talking and listening to your friends, to experts, to neighbors, to children, to youngsters, to older people, to snowflakes, to boomers, and even to okay boomers. So, talking to each other is what we're doing up here in Zuoz. We listen to artists, we listen to poets, to scientists, we love what they say. Sometimes we don't agree at all, and we complain, but we think, and that's the fun of it. We also learn from the person sitting next to us. We learn from the stranger in front of us while waiting for coffee, or when we ask for a cigarette. So this is the thing. You think you come up here to listen to us, but actually it's the other way around. We come up here because you take your time to come here. So we hang out together here, we spend the weekend together, and we go home with new ideas, new insights, and add more steps to the 1, 2, 10, and so on. We learn from each other, and exactly this is when we're going beyond Ohnmacht. That's when we transcend powerlessness.